Enterprise is looking also at the statistics that are coming out, as many of us are, whether it's around poverty or the most recent census data that came out this month, which suggested that over 42% of renters are what we call house or cost burdened. In other words, they're spending way too large of a percentage of their income on their housing costs, and that means that as you turn to other basic necessities like health care, food, and even providing education for their children, these basic necessities are going to be left behind. So as a country, we really need to address how we have more affordable housing available in low-income communities. So as we look in the year ahead, we're going to encourage the administration to take a more balanced approach to our housing policy. Over the past 30 years, the administration has had very much been driven in the direction of home ownership. While we think that's important and vital, we also think that we need to have a balance and have more housing options. Many people don't realize that the GSE multifamily business was relatively profitable. So we need to make sure that as we're going through this reform and these discussions that we continue to focus on the needs of multifamily in addition to the single family. So the GSEs no doubt provided important capital and liquidity to this market. So as we have these conversations going forward, we'll certainly be an advocate to make sure that the multifamily doesn't get lost in that discussion. And ways that a secondary market might help the multifamily market. There are many, but certainly continuing to support the low-income housing tax credit program, finding ways to help us bring new investors into that marketplace and provide the necessary support. And certainly a lot of folks are talking about, does it make sense to have a small transaction fee that could go to foster affordable housing in some way. And we certainly think that that's a viable and good idea. Low-income housing tax credit is one of the most successful government programs in our history. This program has encouraged thousands of public-private partnerships and has brought in much-needed private capital into low-income communities. So we think that it's very important to continue this program and, if anything, see this expanded. Just to give you a sense of the statistics on that, since 1986, the low-income housing tax credit has helped build 9 out of 10 affordable units in this country. What that's meant, it's a total of at least 2 million units across the country that have been built by the low-income housing tax credit. And the low-income housing tax credit is a very efficient vehicle. Without getting into the details of that, the low-income housing tax credit actually, the tax credits begin to flow from the government only when you have a secured outcome. So it's very outcome-based. It's efficient, and as you can see, with over 2 million homes being created, the outcomes are very important to our communities. One of our priorities around the low-income housing tax credit is to make sure that we continue to drive investor interest into this marketplace. And since 2009, we've seen increased investor demand. But given one of our hallmarks here at Enterprise is around financial innovation, we certainly want to make sure that we continue to work with our partners, both in government as well as our nonprofit and for-profit development partners, to make sure we continue to shape the market and bring new investors into the marketplace.